What's up? It's your boy Carcino, man. Glad to see y'all showed up. Give people a little bit of time to realize I'm live. It's been a lot of spamming going on, but hopefully now some people realize I'm live. What's good? We're gonna get into this. You see, that's the thing right there. That's like the darkest secret in boxing. But they call it's more than that, Evan. It's more than that. More than that, Marcus. Now, I don't mention Evander Holyfield because he's a cheater. They hated Mike Tyson so much that they knew Evander Holyfield was cheating and didn't care. Now, when Evander started, he was a freak of nature, the heart. He just had so much heart, man. But he was 100 light heavyweight. That's his natural weight. A light heavyweight. Evander Holyfield, even in the Olympics, had a test that came back a little irregular. In the Olympics. Now, here's the thing. Back then, the testing is not as advanced as it is now. If it was now, there's no way he would have ever won a match at probably heavyweight. So, sorry, had to take the call. What's up, Diane V? Evander Holyfield, even in the Olympics, right? His body showed the body of a man that worked out. He took dance and he had all this state of the art equipment like Drago. He had this vest that had these grips on it, like restriction bands, that he would punch and bring his arm back. So he would work out with that. So that was one of his training methods that was like unorthodox. Him taking up dancing, moving all over the place. Now, after he was at lightweight, okay, Evander Holyfield his body went through a change, like a metamorphosis type of change. Okay. In 84, he was 21 years old. He turned pro. As his first fight as lightweight, he's light heavyweight. Sorry about that. Let me get that correct. That's 175. He campaigned there. I'm saying he was, I won't say he was even all weight, wasn't doing it back then. It just probably wasn't noticed at that time. At 190, when he won the cruiserweight title at 24, and he announced he was moving up to heavyweight, that's when we saw some structural changes. We really saw some structural changes. His traps, everything about him started to change. Now, it don't mean that somebody's doping or you believe is doping, they automatically get like they just turn into Superman. That's not what happens. When someone you believe is doing something of this manner, it doesn't necessarily mean their bodies change into something. It's certain mannerisms, it's certain ways. Like he was never a violent person. He was still in the same demeanor. Like everyone's like, oh, you take steroids, you get crazy and you start raging out. No, he was lifting weights, but it was different with him. It was more restriction bands than it was weights. Evander Holyfield worked out tremendously. That's why his body was in the shape it was in, but he had assistance. He was taking supplements to increase his endurance, increase his mass, increase everything. So fighters and people believe if I'm not taking a shot in my butt, then I'm not taking steroids. And that's not true. He knew what he was taking was not in boxing, it was going to be looked at as doping. But he was passing the urine test. So in his mind, I'm not cheating. This is legal. I'm just taking what's good for my body, but I'm not cheating. I'm not taking steroids. So in Vander Holyfield's mind, he literally believes he is not cheating the game because he's putting the work in the gym. He's taking his supplements and working out. Evander Holyfield went from a lean 215-pound guy, and he put on so much muscle so quick. And he's like, oh no, this is my revamped exercise and diet routine. Me and Mackie Shieldstone, Mackie got me. No, no, no. Mackie don't know nothing about no doggone supplement. Evander Holyfield added so much mass, it was bigger than Barry Bonds to jump. His neck and his traps on his arms grew out to here. His chest muscles is like all the way out to here. His arms and stuff turns into like cannonballs. And no one says a word. You don't put on that kind of muscle going through sparring, hitting the bag, doing road work, or even weightlifting. Not like that. See, the giveaway was how fast it came and how much muscle he got right away. During his fight with Tyson, it was so noticeable. It was very noticeable. But a lot of people didn't realize the Michael Dokes fight when he fought Michael Dokes when he was really hurt in that fight, and he was able to bounce back, and it was the heart and the will of Holyfield to keep going. And he does have that heart, that engine to keep going. But he recovered very fast. But in the Tyson fight, when he fought Mike Tyson, he had already went through a series of changes. After losing to Riddick Bowe, the first fight, he came back and added another like 10 pounds of muscle after losing for the rematch against Riddick Bowe. You can definitely see it in the rematch against Riddick Bowe. Look at Riddick Bowe 1 and look at Riddick Bowe 2, and you will see the change is almost immediate. He went even more heavier. So the second fight he wins, to the part where he had physical complications during his fight against Michael Moore when Michael Moore won the heavyweight championship from him because Holyfield body was shutting down in the middle of a fight. He had irregular heart problems, and they asked him about what was he taking. Margaret Goodman, who's now in the head of VADA, went and asked him, what were you taking? And he denied everything. Yep, you're right. Oh, thank you, bro. Y'all should watch that video with Joe Budden, the one I did with Joe and Derek Ward and all of them about the fight. They ain't send y'all a notification, but that video is damn nice. So anyway, Holyfield was like, I'm fine, I can fight. So he goes into a third fight with Evander Holyfield, and the only place that was sanctioned, they fought in some Hackensack town just to do the trilogy because Holyfield couldn't get medically cleared to fight anywhere at that time. So some little Mississippi, whatever they fought at for the third fight, they go in for the fight in the third fight. And Holyfield, the whole time, George Foreman is talking like he's in a funeral. Oh, this is bigger than boxing. This is about life or death. And Holyfield's risking his life. I mean, the whole fight. And Holyfield is getting beat up. He scored a knockdown on Bo. He was doing well. And Bo catches him, poof, end up knocking Holyfield out. Evander Holyfield was a cheater. He used to headbutt people on purpose, like he did Mike Tyson, use his head as a battering ram. Nobody believed it until later on in his career. Mike Tyson mentioned it, and that's why he bit him in the fight, because he kept headbutting him and he was doing it in the first fight, like purposely butting. Like, this guy keeps on butting me. Every time I look at him, I look in his eyes and he's looking at me. He's trying to get me stopped on cuts. I got 3 cuts over my eyes, and neither one is from a punch. And he did it again, and he butt me again, and I'm cutting, I'm bleeding again. So Evander made it a street fight a long time ago. So I just lost it. Now, even in the first fight, what was so dramatically shocking is that before any of these things happened, Evander Holyfield was in another fight right before the Tyson fight. Holyfield had basically been getting beat up in the world of boxing. He won a fight or with against they called it a draw against Holyfield when they cheated Lennox Lewis out of the first fight. The second fight with Lennox Lewis, he finally got the belt. But Holyfield was cheating a long time ago. Big guys, he couldn't really fight well because he couldn't use his headbutt on them. He couldn't lower that head and go into somebody's head. When you find a guy that's 6'7", you come up basically to their chin. And he was using that head, hitting Lennox in the chin with his head. But boxing was selling this fake Evander Holyfield, the man of God thing. Lord. See, I praise every time I go out there. I don't be trying to listen to rap music and none of that. I just listen to God and God wills. Oh Lord. Look at Evander Holyfield. He's in there praising God before he comes to the ring. Man, they kept all that fraud stuff going on for so long until they found out that Evander Holyfield got 11,000 kids. During the whole time he was singing, "Bring the Lord, I got another one pregnant." So once they found that out, they had to back off. HBO had to back off of Evander Holyfield. Babies was popping up everywhere. Evander Holyfield, that you know that's your baby. Baby look just like Holyfield. Baby got the whole mug like. Holyfield, man, I don't know that man. They was like, Holyfield, you was this man of God. The Christian, they all took you in. This is not the Christian way, Holyfield. Oh boy, he was smashing all the women. He couldn't turn them down. Now, here's where it gets crazy. We ain't even got to the crazy part yet. Oh, you know I'm going to talk on the Patreon. And definitely the uncut version of the Joe Button and Esther Baxter is coming in the Patreon. I had to dance around that one a little bit. We're going to take care of that in the Patreon. That's coming right after this video. Then I might have to do this one on the Patreon too, because I don't even know if I'm could say that stuff here. Yeah, this con job they tried to do with the church, and guys are falling out when they touch their head. I'm gonna touch your hands and heal you. Oh, him and Creflo Dollar. You should know Holyfield was a fake then. When he took, but back then everybody knew then. But by that time they knew he was full of it. When you team up with Creflo Dollar, a man who tell you to bury your money in the backyard, bury your money deep down and put it in the backyard, and then that had let it seed. You'd be like, I'm like, is this really for real? People pay this man? So he wants you to take some money, bury it in the put it in a jar and bury it in the ground, and then that money's gonna grow in seed. You know what? That's a good idea. Because you're gonna get more from putting that money in the jar, burying it in the backyard, than you're gonna do giving it to him. You gonna do because you could always dig that money back up when you need it. And guess what? It ain't gonna seed. It's gonna be the same little dollar that you, whatever amount of money you put in that jar, is gonna still be in that jar. I mean, if he was real, he wouldn't name himself Crestflow Dollar. Sound like a rapper, a crooked pimp rapper. Creflo. That is not your name, buddy. Now, I mean, if you heard this guy talk one time, you would know he was a crook. And I don't know how they even brainwash these people to even show up to these events. But anyway, we got way off point. Let's get back to the goods. Now, here's the situation. Holyfield was taking an HGH, and it had gotten to the point that when he went in the Mike Tyson fight, the fight before Mike Tyson, that's the fight you need to see because it was the most telling anybody have ever seen. And this is why everyone decided, like, man, we got to take this fight. Are you kidding me? Evander Holyfield looked like crap in that fight. The fight before he fought Tyson, a lot of people was mad. They were like, man, this is ridiculous. How is Mike Tyson going to fight this guy? So no matter win, lose, or draw, they were going to make that fight happen. Evander Holyfield got 11 kids. That's another thing, but we'll get to that. Evander Holyfield, throughout his career, he fought about almost 60 fights. But it was that fight he had before. I don't forgot the guy's name. That was the reason they decided, man, we got to get Holyfield back in the ring or in the ring with Mike Tyson. We got to do this fight now because he ain't gonna make it. Bobby Chaz, that was the guy. Bobby Chaz. He fought Bobby Chaz, the one who was the announcer for the fight in Showtime when he was fighting Mike Tyson. He had just fought Bobby Chaz. It went 5 rounds. He looked terrible. After just getting beat by Riddick Bowe in the third fight, he comes back and fights Bobby Chaz, and that was in New York. But he looked bad. Now, in the first Tyson fight, something I noticed about Evander Holyfield, he wasn't the same Evander Holyfield that fought Bobby Chess. Mm-mm. Of course, he was going. This is a bigger fight. He was going to work harder, but no, he was stronger than Mike Tyson. Even though Tyson didn't really train for that fight, he was doing a lot of things he shouldn't have done. And that wasn't the real Mike Tyson that we saw. Even that Mike Tyson would have beat Holyfield. I mean, really. From the first punch he hit Evander Holyfield with, Evander Holyfield was buckled. With the very first punch, when he snuck the right hand through, whop, got Holyfield's attention. Mike was coming in heavy. He was trying to get this fight over with quick and go right through Holyfield. And once this fight happened, I've seen Mike Tyson through the whole fight get broken down physically. He was getting headbutted, and Evander Holyfield was literally pushing him around the ring. And everybody was loving this fight. But Tyson was not in shape for this fight. The body punches was hurting Mike, everything. Mike tried to get headbutt and get out of the fight so he can get a no contest. He was just trying to get out of it so he can come back in shape. But no one was noticing what was happening with Holyfield and how jacked up he was. Mike Tyson hit Holyfield in the 10th round with a combination he used to throw all the time when he was with Customato. And that is the left to the body, same punch, uppercut. He hit Holyfield with that. For the first time, he threw it all night. Body, head. And in the 10th round, Holyfield at that moment was shook. Tyson had nothing in him to finish him at that time. Holyfield shook it off, backed up, even was hurt, shaking it off. He shook off a lot of punches that normally would wobble him or drop him against Mike Tyson. Now, the second fight, now you were fighting Mike Tyson. Mike was in peak condition that fight. He was in dog shape. He came to fight. And from the outset, Holyfield again, same way, said that he would take, because they already said, the rumors was out. Mike wanted Holyfield for the rematch to take a drug test. And they was like, okay, we'll take the test long as Tyson take the test. Test for steroids. And take this drug test. And then nothing came of it, or he took the urine test or whatever, and he passed. Well, the thing is that they had all different type of steroids at the time that wouldn't show up in the urine test. It's all different types. It's not like the Drago where they just stab you in the arm with a needle and just shoot you in the butt or the arm or the shoulders. It's a lot different than that. So in the second fight, Mike Tyson was hitting this man flush. Poof, poof. And I'm like, man, and Holyfield was taking it. And he'll be buzzed a little bit, but walk it off. Like he was fine. Evander Holyfield was the biggest doper in the game, and they knew it. Boxing knew he was cheating. Everybody knew he was cheating in the game, and they were like, yeah, Holyfield's doping, but what are we going to do about it? Then Holyfield was anonymously linked to Applied Pharmacy Services in 2007. It took to 2007 before they finally blew up the whole thing. In 2007, Applied Pharmacy Services in Alabama They were under investigation for supplying athletes with illegal steroids and human growth hormones. Of course, he denied ever using it, and Holyfield's name does not show up in law enforcement documents when they were reviewed. However, a patient whose name is on there is the name Evan Fields. It caught all the investigators' attention. Evan Fields. James had the same birth date as Evander Holyfield. The listed address for Evan Fields was 794 Evander Fairfield, Georgia, 30213. Holyfield has a very similar address. And the phone number that was applied, according to the documents, was associated with the Fields prescription, was dialed, and Evander Holyfield answered the phone. But did we even need to answer all that? So when they got Holyfield and they asked him about it, he was like, "Oh, that medicine is for my daddy. My daddy is sick and he needs this medicine." Your daddy? Your daddy? What's up, Kenny Mo? Kenny Mo from the Bay. Oh, that's for my daddy. My daddy, yeah, he was going through some. So his medication used to be in there, and I didn't have my name on it, so people wouldn't recognize me. Oh my God! But we didn't really need that evidence. We could visually see it. Evander Holyfield was sharper, stronger, shaking punches off. Doesn't mean he wasn't a tough guy. But to me, his legacy has been tarnished. And to me, it's all a fraud. And if you see what has happened to him his entire career, he lost all his money. All them 11 kids ate it up. Lost everything, basically. He's out there selling some barbecue sauce with Mike Tyson. So these are the reasons I don't talk about Evander Holyfield. He's a cheat. Without a shadow of a doubt. That's what he is. Good. Mr. Beasley, he's heard it before. Send it to his camp. Send it to his camp. And I'm going to tell him just like this. This is why I didn't speak to you when you were here in Chicago, Holyfield, because I had nothing positive to say about you. To me, you were a cheat. And you know you cheated. You knew. You did whatever you could to stick around in the game. And that's why now Mike Tyson is more famous than you will ever be. That's why Tyson is his name is everywhere. Everybody respect Mike because they know what he went through. Everybody wants to do a deal with Mike Tyson. He's known all over the world. You're basically should have been a hero, but you weren't. Now you hoping your son could relive your legacy and everything else. All right, we'll see. I don't wish your kids no bad or ill wills, but you cheated. You cheated yourself. You cheated the game. That's all I got to say.